There are several common mistakes that companies make when they're hiring for their online marketing. Very often they will list for a webmaster, marketing coordinator, or someone that's going to run their online catalog. And when they make these fatal mistakes, they get the wrong people or they get the wrong degree of intelligence necessary to get the job done well. I'm Justin Hitt with Ad Briefing's Copywriting Tips. Let's talk about this. When you're hiring a webmaster, you're hiring a marketing coordinator, you're hiring a database marketer, you're hiring a web analytics person or a social media person. Those could be one position if you're a small company just getting started. However, if you're paying $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year for someone in that position, you won't be able to attract anyone who's good in all of those areas. So let's say you're hiring an online marketing person who needs to be somewhat web savvy to run your online catalog, but also needs to have skills to lay out the images online as well as in your print catalog. Well, one such job listing I'm looking at here, and it just happened to come across my feed, is a company that's going to compete with like Gardner Supply Company, Burpees, Johnny Seed. They're going to compete on a regional, if not national level, as far as their small shippable products are concerned. But another area of their business actually has distributors, and it has a distributor network that supplies farmers or direct producers with bulk materials. Those are two different businesses there. One is a catalog marketing business and one is a supply chain or supply distribution system. One has outside resellers. One is a catalog reseller. Now, you can use the knowledge you gained from the catalog to know what products will be popular for your distributors, but you can also use information from direct interactions with different segments of your market to know what products are going to be in demand so that you can supply your warehouse. A webmaster is not going to be able to do any of that. In fact, a webmaster is going to fail because they're going to be thinking technical. You need somebody with strategic and creative skills to understand more than just the words on a page, but how those pages influence the customer, how different types of volumes of traffic or traffic sources to particular products in your catalog influences purchase uptake. Some people might be going to the catalog, for example, to find what are the newest items, not because they're going to buy the newest items, but because they work for some other catalog company and they're just trying to see what other people are presenting. I worked for Lillian Vernon for a while, and a lot of their online purchases were actually people who had gotten the physical print catalog. And if they didn't code the catalog correctly, they would not have known that someone got a physical catalog, maybe looked through the catalog, picked a few items, and then they sat down online and made the purchase. See, this is very important. Some folks felt comfortable making the purchase online because they could type in their customization. Others felt it was just more convenient, and many more actually mailed in the catalog order form. But if you stop the catalog at the point where there's more people ordering online, you wouldn't be able to stimulate the online orders because you didn't have proper source tracking. And these are things that a webmaster just doesn't know. Keen attention to detail is important, your ability to write. But you can have an analytics person who knows nothing about writing articles. See, they know keywords, concepts, themes, how to test. You may actually want an editor to do your writing. You may not want a webmaster writing content for your blog. You may only want that webmaster posting content that's written by a subject matter expert. Now, of course, there are ways to interview your subject matter experts, to turn product reviews into informational articles, to otherwise create content. You don't want your webmaster doing that. That is an editorial role. So what happens, and this is the common mistake, is that the company's small and they believe that we need to get somebody to do this job and we need somebody to do all these things, but they don't understand the topic well enough to completely go to the next level. They know enough to do the job. They know enough to get them to where they are in the business. They know enough to interview somebody and know the person's not BSing them, but they aren't up to date with that next level. So for example, my catalog. Is the product selling better on the right or left page? See, someone who's managing a digital catalog, and let's look at a specific segment. If you're managing a digital catalog, versus managing a print catalog. There's actually different skill sets here. So I flipped to page 47 in this Burpee catalog, and I see in the top corner it's Tangerine Dream, and in the lower corner, Produce a Better Harvest. See, knowing how someone reads a page can impact your sales. So does the Tangerine Dream sell better on page 47, which is a right-hand page, or does it sell better on page 46, which is a left-hand page? Now, this particular catalog has a profile on the left hand and a detail on the right hand, and it tends to do that mostly through profile means big images. So every left-hand page is kind of big images because most people who read English read from left to right. So you get them attracted with the picture, you get them attracted with the headlines, you get them attracted with a call out that maybe helps them make a buying decision, and then you bring them into the actual catalog materials that are on the left three quarters. Now, in a print catalog, that works great. But online, everybody's got different size browsers. And so you don't have all that space for the extra copy to get them in. I'm looking at an online catalog here, and it's the newest items, and they're talking about Vermont compost. Well, if you don't know, you have to already know what benefit compost has in order to know that this is the best choice. And ultimately, when you drill down, there's no text for that individual. Actually, it's lower on the page, but on the top fold, which is the top of the page. So if you're looking at a print catalog, you have a left and a right page. Online, you have a top and a bottom page. So on the top, above the fold, what's immediately seen by the viewer is has to catch their attention. It has to give them a reason why, because that's usually where the add to cart is. Because if you can catch their attention, you can get their interest without them scrolling down, very often they'll throw it in the cart. If they already know they want that product because maybe they came to that product through a link from a piece of content, well, then they're going to put it right in the cart. But otherwise, having to scroll down and look at the descriptions, look at the directions, look at the certificates, all that stuff being down the page might be hard to get to. And this particular catalog has large images in the bottom. A vertical page is going to be trifold. You have your above the fold, you have the below the fold, and then you have the bottom of the page. Their bottom of the page here has huge images, which are not really necessary and detract from the, I guess it's the experience of the person interacting with the page to make a buying decision. Now, your webmaster is really going to be better for, are the images a good size? Are the images properly optimized so that search engines come through? Are the URLs doing what they're supposed to do? Now, a marketing coordinator doesn't necessarily know how to do those things. Now, if you've got a commerce platform, you're using a catalog platform, and you have enough traffic, your webmaster can just kind of switch the right switches. But they've got to do it in coordination with your analytics, because if you change the URLs, that's the web address, you change the web address, it's going to mess up your tracking. If you aren't properly retargeting your customers, a webmaster can put the retargeting code in the page, but the marketing coordinator knows which code to put in the page. Do you want to retarget your Facebook visitors, or do you want to target all of your traffic to Facebook? See, on my sites, I always have my clients after the opt-in, after they've completed some kind of goal. That's when we retarget them, because we don't want just visitors. We want visitors who have taken specific actions on the website to become prospects before we're going to spend money on retargeting them, bringing them back. So again, this mistake is you know what you want. You know what the outcome is, but you're not really sure what the right person is. You may have constraints when it comes to budget. $40,000 a year is not that much for a webmaster. If you have a part-time webmaster, 30 hours a week, potential for 40 hours a week, 30 or 40,000 a year is not that much. They can work freelance and they can get more than that, more than that net. So what do? We have the limitation to know what we want, but not necessarily where we want to be. So the skill set you have may not be current for what's available in the marketplace. There's some real fancy stuff you can do with database marketing to list segment, to augment lists, to retarget audiences, to set up same and like audiences, to really drill down into buyers in a marketplace. That may not be available to you. You may have a concept that it exists. You may have a desire to use it, but a typical webmaster, a typical marketing coordinator, a typical catalog person isn't going to have all three of those things. They're going to have a specialty in one or two areas, but not all. Another thing we want to look at is, can we outsource any of these elements in a way that we get what we're looking for, but we don't have the commitment of an employee? Now, this is very important because when you're talking about webmaster work, I've managed hundreds of sites with a single console. Now, all the sites were the same platform, and we still do this. We have somebody, a webmaster, that does this for us. But if they're all on a single platform, you can get a console and manage hundreds of sites. You don't need to go have a webmaster that goes to every page and does HTML and does CSS and JavaScript and responsive frameworks, because you just get a template. You hire somebody to build you a template. You use the template. If that template tests better than the old template, then you keep the template. You don't need somebody on staff that knows how to do that. There's design and layouts when it comes to marketing, but there's also designs and layouts that come to usability. Something that is easy to convert to a sale is my preference, but it may not look right in certain browsers, and then you need a technical person to go look at that. Now, you don't necessarily need to outsource all of your webmaster work and all of your marketing coordination work, but a lot of agencies can actually help you with these things, because the agency will have 4 or 5 people on staff that can take the roles as they're needed. If you're going to have marketing, multi-channel marketing efforts, definitely not going to be a webmaster helping you with that. Multi-channel marketing efforts require proper coding of links, the proper catalog tracking, the proper external tracking. So, for example, if you're using BigCommerce as your shopping cart, but you're printing a catalog and mailing it, are you cross-coordinating your geographic location where the catalog's dropped and the potential sales online during that same period from the same geographic area? Now, this basically means for a lot of companies that you're dumping the data from the commerce platform, and you're dumping the data from the post office, and you're dumping the data from maybe a hand tick where you've gotten your catalogs that have bad addresses on them. And then you're merging all that data together, building out a pivot table, and realizing, okay, it takes 2 days to get to this zip code for our physical catalog. We actually had increases in sales before the catalog would have landed, and afterwards it didn't really lift the sales. Yet this other zip code, the sales go through the roof once the catalog lands, which is 4 days later from send, and our sales are happening online and mail in. See, that timeline tracking helps you send fewer catalogs to the zip code where the sales don't jump, or the sales happen before the catalog gets there, and more catalogs to the people who are targeted in the zip code that has the good results. Now, it doesn't have to be just zip codes. It could be, in the case of a seed company or a agricultural supply company, it could be seasonal variations. Lillian Vernon, a lot of these big catalog companies, Auto Trader had similar things. They had a physical print magazine as well as an online magazine. This slicing and dicing is beyond the technical skill of a marketing coordinator. It's beyond the technical skill of a webmaster, but it actually helps both of those jobs work more effectively. So let's say you're holding events at a location where you're going to bring in your dealers and you're going to have dealer training on new products. Okay, that's actually a marketing activity. While it's educational outreach, it's actually can be a marketing activity, because you want to see which of those dealers, you've invested time and money in training them, which of those dealers now sell that product at a higher volume. If there's a particular advocacy that you're doing, like for example, you're using all organic materials, you may want to pull third-party data to look at what areas have the highest number of certified organic farms. Because if the area has farms and they have a certain amount of farm volume, but they're all commercial farms using synthetic fertilizers, you may not want to concentrate many catalogs in there because you're not necessarily going to convert them. But if you've got an area or a region that has a lot of organic farms, there's a lot of permaculture going on, there's a lot of back to the land movement in larger rural areas, you can actually send more catalogs and have a higher probability of getting sales and results. The same thing with cities. You might be sending catalogs to cities and getting a few sales here and there. Can you drill down in that list to only send the catalogs to community gardens or members of community gardens. See, that's when we get beyond. So here's what we do. We take the position and we lay it out, and we have a third party look at it and tell you, is this one position? Is this 3 positions? Is this more? You consider the differences between hiring or outsourcing. If you're hiring somebody at $40,000 a year, that's really going to cost you $80,000 to $100,000 a year. And why is that? Well, you're paying taxes on that individual. You've got benefits to that individual. You've got other roles. So let's say that $40,000 is really $100,000 in company direct costs. You've got software licensing. This particular ad says Adobe Photoshop, InDesign, and Illustrator. That's a $60, $70 a month license. You've got the hosting platform and the other areas where you may have to send this individual to training because they just manage your site. They're not managing 50 sites that are the same or even 5 sites that are the same. So you take that $100,000 and you say, look, can I get all 3 of these things for less than what I would pay to have one employee? And if I can get those things, can I get them at a specialty level that's higher than the skills that one person might obtain? So let's say the one person's really doing 3 jobs. So webmaster work, marketing coordinator, catalog marketer, or direct response marketer. It's really 3 jobs. You take those 3 jobs and you say, well, can I get for a third of $100,000, can I get a direct response person in here? And they come in every quarter. They come in every month. They come in when you release the catalog. They provide multiple people under that contract relationship, corp to corp contract relationship, or maybe a freelance individual. And now you say, well, look, if I need a backup of this person, can I get more than one? Same thing with the other positions. The outsourcing option lets you then hire a manager in-house, or you keep doing the work. Right now, you're doing the work yourself and you're hiring to expand capacity. Well, now you shift from doing the work to actually managing the work, and you can then use 3 or 4 contractors on the outside who then get the work done in their specialty. Now, you might be saying, well, Justin, I want to hire one person to do this job. I don't want to manage all these other people. Well, you have to understand that they're not going to be working full time. If you hire somebody part-time, 30 hours a week, they're not going to spend 100% of their time doing the things that are in their job profile. In fact, that $100,000 you're spending, there's an efficiency lost because they're probably going to spend 30 to 40% of their time working on specific work, and the rest of the time is going to be administrative. When you're working with a contractor, when you're working with an agency, a lot of that administrative work is taken care of for you. For example, when you're working with an agency, you may only have one agency point of contact and not even know the 15 different people that are working on your project because you really just care about deliverables. One of the challenges with your employee is that if you lose the employee for some reason, you may end up having to pay benefits. You may have to pay, you may have other liabilities that wouldn't be there with an agency model or will not be there with a ad hoc model where you're hiring in and out. Now, if you've got concerns about this, if you're building your own agency or you've got a catalog company and you're trying to grow your catalog company, if you've got a warehouse and you're selling product through distribution, you're selling product direct at the warehouse, you're selling product in multiple channels, and you've got questions, visit me at www.adbriefings.co.uk. You can ask your questions there through the contact page, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. Just understand that these are mistakes that you may not have fully grasped and understood. And when you hire somebody who's not going to be proficient in all 3 areas because it's very complex, you may find they're a better fit in one area and you're going to get better production out of that one area. You still might decide to hire them, but ultimately, a webmaster, a marketing coordinator, a database marketing person, or a direct response marketing person, there are too many gaps there for that to be one person. There are too many specializations. You're either going to end up with the right person, but they're going to be frustrated all the time. They're not going to get the results you're looking for, or you're going to end up with the wrong person and you're going to have to rehire in the future. I'm Justin Hitt, here to help marketers, small businesses and other groups that are out there doing regular marketing, help them do it more efficiently, help them do it with words that sell, and help them get better results. Thanks for listening. Again, with your questions, you can visit www.adbriefings.co.uk. I'm Justin Hitt.